My husband still forgets what I'm doing at 7 o'clock on a weeknight. Hiya Al, I'm just in Sainsbury's. What do you want?
I'm literally about to interview the Prime Minister. How can I help you? You've been doing the one show for, 14 years now?
I can't even believe I'm still there. I think I just keep quiet. I just literally go in, do the job, and hope nobody notices that I'm still there.
Whilst dealing with 3 children and a family life and moving house, do you reach overwhelm?
Yeah, I feel overwhelmed a lot. And I think the thing that overwhelms me most is having enough time with the children. I want to be nice wife. But I said, have you ordered anything for us to be able to sit outside on? And he went, no. So what have you ordered? A chicken coop.
Oh.
So we've got nothing to sit on,
No.
but the chickens will be in a very lovely chicken coop.
Have you got chickens?
Not yet.
No.
No. I don't think I can follow Amy. So just to say, that's a disclaimer. It's going to go
Amy
downhill.
right in the front here.
Oh, gosh.
Brilliant,
We were
Amy.
watching you backstage. Incredible.
So brilliant.
Yeah.
It's just good vibes, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Good vibes around. Now, I'm imagining, I know you're extremely busy, but I'm hoping that this is a source of light relief for you today because you're in the middle of a house move.
Oh,
How's that going?
it's not.
No. Is it a nightmare?
What I've done, I've left it too late.
Right.
People said, start packing early. And I thought 2 weeks was sufficient.
No. That's like a holiday.
It turns
That's
out
like packing for a holiday.
it's not enough time.
No.
So it's happening on, oh my goodness, on Friday.
Right.
Actually, I better go
Yeah.
now. What am I doing sitting here?
Are you an organised person naturally?
I like to think so, but no. I mean, is anybody in our job? Because it's so frenetic and frantic, and the children. And I started off really well, cleaning everything, boxing them in order. Now it's like this: open the box,
Shove
there
it
you go.
in.
Where's the sellotape gun?
Yeah.
The kids have broken it. All right, cut some off with your teeth. There you go.
Done. It's all going to be worth it when you get in there.
I think so, even though I was saying backstage, I live here in Chiswick, love it, really love it, and this is where I do my run every day. And by the way, how amazing is this woman? Oh my God, I came in and I thought, a mother has organised this?
With a lot of help. With a hell of a lot of help.
I know, but still, it's a lot, and it's incredible. But yeah, we are moving out of this area, which we've absolutely loved. And we met here. Charlie and I had our first date in our local pub, Saddos. We moved up the road.
So cute.
But we've had the children here, and I think that's what I'm struggling with, is, you know, it's where we brought them home from hospital. And we've got so many memories, and I just think they're never going to be as young as they were in that house.
It's so hard, isn't it, when you see, you know, those markers, when you do, maybe like your kids are leaving a school or you're moving area, and it feels so deeply nostalgic, even before you've left.
Definitely. It feels really huge, this one. And even though we've really weighed it up, and as much as I'd love to stay here, it's not about me, it's about them. They need more space. They need green fields and, you know, trees to climb. Because at the minute, they play Strictly Come Fighting. I was going to say dancing, but Strictly Come Fighting in the kitchen. And it's just, oh, it's relentless.
It's
football
chaos.
against the fridge.
Yeah.
Like, go out to the garden, I'm like, our garden's too small, Mama. So we're doing it for them. But yeah, it feels big. But a new start is also really exciting.
It is.
And we feel fortunate that we can, you know, that we've got the option to move. So, yeah.
A new chapter is always scary and exciting. It's a good thing. It's a really
think
good
so.
thing. I mean, you've got a hell of a lot going on. You're a mum, you're doing the one show amongst other projects, and this move on the go. You've been doing the one show for, 14 years now? Is it 14? 15?
14
14.
years. Next month.
So much has happened in that time. It must be strange to look back on that era of your life. You met your husband during that time. You've had your children during that time. It's
Completely.
been a really incredible part of your life.
I can't even believe I'm still there. I think I just keep quiet. I just literally go in, do the job, and hope nobody notices that I'm still there.
But you're so good.
Oh, I love it. And, you know, people ask a lot, but what do you want to do? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm really happy. And they're like, but, you know, don't you want to do a big entertainment show? And I'm like, well, you know, all new projects are exciting and a new challenge, but actually it would be really remiss of anybody, I think, to overlook the bread and butter. And if you don't put your heart and soul like you do into this, nothing works. All the extra bits are really fun and exciting. And it was lovely to do like the fertility doc I did, you know, side by side. It's lovely to have that running alongside it. But actually for me, longevity is key. And I want to be there. I want to be, you know, with us, being the main breadwinner. I want to be able to provide security for the children. I love the job. I get to interview brilliant people.
Yeah.
Some nightmares, but mostly lovely people. And I just really enjoy it. I still feel really happy to go in every day. And I think, you know, that's not to be overlooked.
No, I mean, how refreshing, because I think modern society does push us to keep looking to what's next. And there's a hell of a lot of pressure for us to bypass feeling content. And actually, if you're loving what you're doing, why would you change it? But it's so strange that we're so used to having that question or asking other people that question. But what's next? We don't have to have a what's next.
I think there's so much pressure anyway.
Yeah.
If you find something you really enjoy, why is there, as you say, all this pressure to find the next thing, the next move? I mean, I don't mean in terms of house move, but, you know, the next thing career-wise. Sometimes you have to really look at what you've got and go, this is great. And if this is it, for as long as they'll have me. I mean, by the way, they'll have to push me out with my Zimmer frame.
Yes.
Because I won't be going by choice. And if you read that, you'll know it's a lie. Because I would
she
never
chose to go. No,
she didn't.
No.
They'll have to literally push me out. I absolutely still love it and get a lot of pleasure from it. And, you know, it's having a chat with people. Nothing nicer.
It's so wonderful. I mean, how do you feel being interviewed? I always find it really unnerving. I'm a bit out of control.
Oh, no, I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Pressure's off.
Takes the pressure off.
Yeah, just chill and
I
sit
don't know.
back.
It's interesting because obviously you really understand the dynamic of both roles. But I quite like it. Yeah, you can take the pressure off. And I've listened to this podcast, Fearne. Oh, my God, running around this park. Right, for years and years and years, running around, listening to Fearne. And I've learned so much on your podcast. So if anything, there is pressure with this one because I think, God, I've come away from every podcast and thought, oh, that's interesting, or I'll try and do a bit more of that. And I don't know if I've got anything to share with you, I'll be honest.
Of course you have. You've got loads to share. And I'm really intrigued to know more about the inner workings of Alex Jones. Because, I mean, for a start, let's just isolate it to looking at the job that you do. It is, I mean, I hosted the One Show about 4 times, and it was so terrifying. I found it, I mean, I'm not good these days with live TV. I used to find it a walk in the park, but these days, there's something really, it makes my nervous system fizz in a not nice way. Whereas this doesn't. I feel very comfortable and relaxed here. And I've lost, I guess, the tolerance to do that kind of thing anymore, where you're a bit on edge and anything could happen and you're thrown some real curveballs on that show and you have to interview people like you know them and you really don't in a very short space of time. Do you work well under pressure?
I think so. I need a deadline, like with a house move.
Yeah.
I need Friday as a deadline.
Yeah.
But I think I do. I love live television because, of course, it keeps you vital, doesn't it? It keeps you alive because, of course, the danger with doing a job for that long is that you become complacent.
Yeah.
But the live element keeps it fresh. And as you know, every night is different. The combo sometimes makes me really laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
The jarring transitions between items.
Exactly. So it
I love
can
that.
be, you know, and there's a lot to fit in. You're like, here's Dolly Parton, 4 minutes, go. And it's hard because you're thinking, well, people at home, this is a guest that they really want to hear from. And you think, oh, my God, that is like 3, maybe 4 questions. With Jared Leto, it turned out it was about 15.
Oh.
Didn't have a lot to say.
Oh, dear.
I know. Hopefully he's not here. But
no, he's probably in the lotus position somewhere by the water.
Fine. But with, you know, most of our lovely guests, they've got a lot to say. And then doing that in 4 minutes. Because, of course, like Graham Norton, things is edited. But there's none of that. And, oh, my goodness, I make mistakes.
I don't think you do.
Oh,
this is
Fearne.
what I'm so intrigued about, because when I watch you, I see someone who is flawless, someone who has honed their skill and is flawless. And I do watch, especially people now on live TV, in awe, knowing what that feels like, that you could say anything. Like, my mad head would throw up something quite outrageous in moments that I'd have to squash to then say something sensible. But you seem to do it so flawlessly. Do you feel a pressure to be perfect?
No. No, I think at about 5 to 7, I insert the BBC One filter.
Right.
So before then, in rehearsal, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. Like, things massive cancelled for, kind of.
Right.
Right?
I wish I could watch that show.
Yeah, at 5 to 7, the filter goes in. And I think, because I've been there for so long, I feel really relaxed. It's like home from home. And it's not what you just see on telly, of course. It's like all the people behind the scenes, all our cameramen. They've also been there for years, so it feels really relaxing. There's a nice atmosphere there. But, you know, sometimes I'll be away with the fairies. Or classic, my husband, who still forgets what I'm doing at 7 o'clock on a weeknight.
How?
Hiya, Al, I'm just in Sainsbury's. What do you want?
I'm literally about to interview the Prime Minister. How can I help you?
I've been doing this for ages.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, whose phone's on? Oh, I don't know. And you can hear behind me. But I think it's just, yeah, we all get quite relaxed. And then if something like that's happened and I'm not fully concentrating, I'll welcome a guest on, once, then I don't know, I've probably told the story before, but it was Nick Robinson, who's
I love
political.
this story.
He's amazing. And I went, oh, please welcome Rick Robinson. And, oh, honestly, me and...
It's perfect.
It couldn't be any worse, could it?
No, it's so good.
But like Nick Grimshaw and I, Nick was presenting with me that night, and we just could not get a grip. For love nor money, could not get a grip.
That's my favourite live TV, is just corpsing, like, forever.
Exactly.
Non-stop laughter. I remember doing the chart show once on Radio 1, and me and Reggie got the giggles, and we didn't announce a single number. We just laughed for like 20 seconds, and then that was it, and then a song started playing. It's so joyful.
Yeah, and I always think that's what people want.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, that's what I tell myself. I'm like, that's what they want.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
I love it. I mean, talking of Dolly Parton, weren't you invited into her dressing room to hang out? What happened?
And I'd only been doing the show for about 3 months. So I was like, whoa, that's Dolly Parton. And she went, I said, I'm, believe it or not, going to interview you in a minute. She said, come in. I'm just putting my makeup on. She does all her own makeup. She does all her own hair.
It's not her hair, but she does the hair.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah.
Or she sets the hair. And she let me watch her put all her own makeup on. And it was like, it was a process.
Of course it was.
You could watch her becoming Dolly over this period of time. But it was incredible. And she was so open. And what you see when you see people interviewing her is exactly what she is. She's just so lovely. And I think, again, a person who's grateful for the job she has. She enjoys it. She's happy. Who wouldn't be if you were Dolly?
I know.
But do you know what I mean? She just feels, yeah, I'm really lucky. I'm really happy to chat. Nothing's a problem. She's ace.
I love that. It's often those really big megastars who are really lovely because they've sort of been there, seen it, done it all. And they're always very gracious and have a lot of time. And I think that's what you hope, but it seems to be true.
Yeah, I mean, the only people really, I don't know, it's probably my upbringing, but I don't get that starstruck. People like Dolly.
Of course.
Different. I mean, Dolly's in a different...
She's otherworldly.
Otherworldly. Good word.
Yeah.
Elton John.
Yeah.
Because we used to sing to Elton John in the car, you know, Mum and Dad put the cassette on, it was always Elton John.
Heaven.
Whether we liked it or not.
Yeah.
But we were like in the, you know, back of the car singing, I don't know, all sorts. Your song, badly, all of it. But when he actually came on, I was faced with him, I was like, flipping heck, it's flipping Elton John.
Yeah.
So there are a few.
Absolutely.
You
but
know,
you do realise, I guess, seeing people up close and personal, seeing Dolly Parton put her makeup on, everyone's human, muddling through the day.
I mean, I never forget Art Garfunkel. I wasn't sure if I knew what he looked like, really. You know, you've heard a lot
Just sort of like curly hair, big hair?
Well, this is it.
Oh, have I got the wrong one?
He's got this sort of curly, tight curls, sort of, a bit sort of short. Anyway, we went into the makeup room and he whipped it off.
What?
All his hair. And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that.
I mean, that's an exclusive.
Yeah.
Surely.
It's a wig.
Art's got no hair. We didn't know.
You see a lot of people
see a lot.
behind the scenes,
You do.
And that's really interesting. I think the most starstruck I've ever been is Rich and Judy.
Oh, Rich and Judy.
I loved Rich and Judy. Like, I still love Rich and Judy.
The best.
And when they came on, I was like, this is it.
One of my favourite TV moments ever, and I mean ever, is Rich and Judy at the NTAs.
Oh, amazing.
It was so... If any of you didn't see that, that's what you're YouTubing tonight. When they go on stage and she doesn't realise her halter neck is not a halter neck anymore.
Yeah.
It's round her waist. Whole bra on display, millions, like this is when the NTAs were huge, millions of people watching. I was with Stephen Mulhern, weirdly. We were presenting this kids' TV show and we were in a hotel room and we were screeching with sort of ecstatic joy and horror. It's one of the greatest bits of telly ever.
I think, though, you end up loving Judy so much more because
She's
of
ace.
it. Who hasn't had a halter neck around their waist at some point? Do you know what I mean?
Quite.
Unsuspected.
We've all been there.
We
I mean,
have.
it's an extraordinary job that you've got, and as I've said a million times, you do it so impeccably whilst dealing with 3 children and a family life and moving house. Do you reach overwhelm?
All the time, especially now that that lovely thing called perimenopause is breathing down my neck. Yeah, I feel overwhelmed a lot. And I think the thing that overwhelms me most is having enough time with the children. Because, when we were growing up, we had nothing. But what we did have is mum and dad's time. And I think that is the thing that I know I can't give them enough of. I mean, every day, they'll ask, are you working tonight, Mama? And the answer is, I take some time off. I take a day off a week now because I just need to be there. But I think it's hard. I don't know what the answer is. Is there an answer?
No.
I don't know if there is. So what I do, I overdo it on the love front.
Right.
Yeah, I really go heavy with love.
Yeah.
Because I think, at a really young age, that is the thing you can grasp. So they are up to here, the boys, in hugs.
Yeah,
and,
get off,
they love it.
Mum.
And I think, time is key. I mean, no kid wants material, anything. It's not, nobody wakes up and go, well, some might, I want a PS5. They probably do some.
Bit of both.
But mostly it's, are you picking me up tonight? Will you be there after school tonight? That's what they want. So my life is very basic. I go to work, and when I'm not in work, I'm with the children. I'm the most boring person.
No, but I'm the same. I'm the same.
And I just keep it simple. So I'm like, if I'm not with them, do you want to go for it? No. I don't want to go for a drink. I mean, I do. But
in 10 years.
In 10 years.
Yeah.
Because I think now is the time. We are not going to get it back. My focus is them. And I go to work to provide for them, and everything else is them.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's the only way I can survive.
I agree. I think you have to pick 2 things that you want to not even do well at, but 2 things you want to have a go at. Because I think you still, even with 2 things in your life, feel strung out, stretched, like there's not enough time and room. I think I was talking about this earlier, perhaps in one of the smaller talks we did, that it's almost quite a toxic thing to say, oh, women can have it all today. And that used to be perhaps a sort of feminist statement. I don't think it is anymore. I think it's quite negative in terms of us then feeling like we have to strive for everything and then we fall short in all areas rather than quite sensibly, as you've said, pick a couple of things that you really want to put your heart and soul into. And they don't have to be perfect, but that's your choice. I think that's the only way to deal with it, because I think we're all overwhelmed, whether we've got kids or not, have a job, don't, whatever your situation, we're all bombarded with information. We're all trying to do way too many things, and we're really stretched. When I feel overwhelmed, I tend to get really flappy. I'm very flappy, and I think my husband is here somewhere, but I'm probably a bit horrible to him. That's a mild way of putting it. And I'm just not a relaxed, fun person to be around. How does your overwhelm express itself?
I think you've nailed it there.
Yeah.
I'm not the person I want to be. I want to be fun mum. I want to be nice wife. I mean, to be fair, he doesn't help himself sometimes. Because I know, I'll know the days that are not going to be, great.
Yeah.
Week before, period.
All of that stuff.
And I'll say sometimes, today, Charlie, I would try your best.
Yeah. Or stay away.
Do you know what I mean?
Stay away.
And on one particular day, I'll give you an example. He won't mind. Probably will. But I said, have you ordered anything for us to be able to sit outside on in the new house?
Yeah.
And he went, no, because you'll want to choose and it won't be right. Fair enough. And I went, but not literally bean bags, Sort of. What have you ordered? Great. What have you ordered? A chicken coop.
Oh, is that happening? Are you having
chicken coop?
Okay. You could sit
so
on the chicken coop.
we've got nothing to sit on
No.
on the floor, but the chickens will be in a very lovely chicken coop.
Well, good for them.
So good for them.
Have you got chickens?
Not yet.
No.
No, we don't.
No, they're right. The fantasy chickens will have a great life.
But, so some days are worse, but I can feel it. I mean, sometimes I'll always try and get outside. That's the thing that saves me. Nature saves me 100%. But I can feel it building sometimes, and I feel like I'm out of control.
Yeah,
It's like this rage, and it's not me at all. And I don't know what the answer is, because every person I speak to seems to feel the same. They like getting really cross.
We just have no time to rest. And I think we all now see rest as this sort of wonderful luxury, whereas it should be a must. And it's certainly why we put this festival on, so that every knackered person around can come and sit and have a second, just without being bombarded with info and phones pinging and all of that stuff. I think we're all guilty of not choosing to switch off. We see it as this great luxury, but actually we all need to. I mean, if you had your ideal moment of rest, what would that look like?
I don't know, because I am terrible at resting.
Yeah.
I've always been terrible. But I know that I need to do it, but I still can't find the room for it, which is horrible, because sometimes when you just have a 20-minute nap, sometimes I've fallen asleep in the car on the way to somewhere, and I'll wake up and I'll think, oh my God, I feel like a different person. So I know I need it, but I've always been really bad at scheduling it in.
Why do you think that is? I'm always a bit on the run. I'm always like, what? And it's probably the opposite of what we talked about at the start of this chat, but I do think, what's next? And not because I'm bored or complacent, but because I need to feel this level of excitement with some sort of creative newness. I'm a bit addicted to it, and I am scared of rest. I think some of it is just kind of like your classic working class upbringing, where that's just how it is. And the thought of my mum and dad imagining me sort of watching telly in the day still makes me feel a bit sick.
Well,
or like just stopping.
Yeah.
But also I do push myself to silly degrees sometimes, and I expect too much of myself, which I'm trying now in my 40s to pull back on and learn that it's okay just to stop for a bit, because I'm going to burn out, like we all will burn out. I think many of us probably here today feel on the edges of being a bit burnt out. Why do you think you're not good at it?
Because I'm scared to stop.
Why is that?
Because I think when I was growing up, and I remember I would look out of my parents' bedroom and you could see the Black Mountains. And I just hated them. Because I know.
The mountains specifically.
I know.
Yeah.
How awful's that? And now I go back and I think they're beautiful and they're evocative. But at the time, it just represented this wall. And I thought, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in this dark valley. I just want to get out of here. But because in South Wales, it's a lovely place to grow up, but you're conditioned not to dream outside the boundary of South Wales, you know? So I would never have told anybody how much I wanted. I wanted to go to New York. I wanted to go to London. I wanted to be an actress. I mean, that was a bad idea. But I wanted to do all these things that I couldn't say out loud because it was just blue sky thinking. I mean, Mum and Dad would have gone, all right then, and so what are you actually going to do? You know, and they don't mean to be like that because they're amazing, supportive parents, but it's just the way we're all conditioned. And so because I've been super lucky and have been allowed to do this extraordinary job, I'm too scared to stop now so because of my background, I think.
Do you fear it will all go away?
Yeah.
I do.
I think they're going to any minute send me back down the M4, over the bridge, right, lock it, guys.
Keep her in Wales, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same. I always think I could, and I do think it is the nature of certainly the TV industry, that you can very easily disappear. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's certainly not about being known. But I think if you love your job and there is even a small percentage of a chance that it might not be the case in the future, that's really scary when you love it.
It's hugely scary. Yeah, and especially because people, I mean, when I first had the job, they thought, oh, look, it's like a competition winner. She's just appeared out of the blue. And of course, no.
No, you've been working for yonks.
You've been, you know, knocking on doors, sending letters, doing ridiculous jobs along the way. I remember standing in a tube station, I think it was Tottenham Court Station, and I'd got there for an audition, and I couldn't get home because I didn't have any money. You know, when you go in and it goes, you have insufficient funds. That used to be my life all the time, and I'd have to ring Mum and Dad. They were like, well, what are you doing in London? You haven't got any money. What are you doing? Alan, what's she doing now in London? Classic. And I'd be like, well, I saw this thing in the Stage. I remember that newspaper?
Yeah, I used to love the Stage.
And off I'd go, you know? So even though I was like a really shy kid, I had this quite strong ambition inside, and I thought, I'm not looking at these black mountains anymore. I'm off, come hell or high water. And it took a long, long time, but now that I have it, I don't want to lose it.
No, but it means you're really grateful as well, which is a lovely thing, and sometimes, again, rare in the TV industry. I mean, I think you have to have maybe not only that thought process of I'm getting out of here and nothing will stop me, but you've got to have some self-belief in there.
Well, a little bit. I suppose I had to, we didn't have these words then, but I had to sort of do an inner rebrand.
Right.
You know? Looking back, I was, you know, as a child, thin, that's a terrible word, isn't it? Thin, shy, compliant. You know, I was an obedient child, and I don't know where this came from, but I was like, there's more to life than this. And it was that, and I didn't know whether I could do it. I didn't think I probably could, but I just thought, I'm going to give this a go. Life's too short. And because of the extraordinary job, I really, and always have done, I love the mundane. And like my husband is like, what do you mean you love mundane? I don't know, I just like pick up and drop off.
Yeah.
Like, I just like stuff. So I'm quite easily pleased. So even though so it's a bit of a weird one, because even though I wanted to sort of reach extraordinary heights, which I'm not saying I have, but for me, I'm really happy.
No, you really have.
But I also really enjoy, my favourite memory is Mum ironing Coronation Street on and us having a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Heaven.
Like that, I was so happy with that as well. So it's a bit of a weird
But it's a lovely balance, because I think if you go too far into that world of TV, it can be really toxic, and it's very fake.
It's
and
weird.
Actually, you can have the exciting bit, but then just go home and have a really normal evening or a lovely weekend of pottering. My favourite thing, pottering.
Yeah.
Love, obsessed. Obviously, along the way, we all have been rejected in some way if we're trying to climb a ladder at work. How did you deal with that, and what stopped you from giving up?
I mean, I've got a chunk of letters, you know, from production, you know, sort of producers, execs, agencies, and I've kept them all because I'm going to show them to the children when they're older. Because also, I'm really concerned the fact that their life is quite a lot easier than mine was. And I don't want them to be complacent. I don't want them not to have a drive in them. But I had, going back to the point, loads of rejection letters. And I just think, I don't know, as a youngster, you have an ability to shrug it off, I think. Whether I could do that now, I don't know. Because a couple of horrible comments on Instagram and I'm a mess. I'm like, where's the red wine?
It's awful, but it's awful, it's horrible.
They hate me. And of course, that's, it's literally like like tiny percent. But I think when you're younger, you just think, okay, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And that's kind of the tenacity you need to do something that you love.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't come easy. You've got to work hard. And I keep banging on at it, and bless them, they're only 2, 5, and 7. But I'm like,
talking to your
guys,
2-year-old about rejection, I love it.
And I'm like, Ted, we got to do the spelling. If you don't do the spelling, you won't get a good mark. You won't be confident, and then it'll just unravel. And Charlie's like, whoa, wow, it's a bit soon. But I feel strongly that their life should be, because they have a lovely life, of course, and they loved. But I don't want them to feel that they can be complacent, because I think that is the start of unraveling.
Yeah, I mean, your kids are little, but do you talk in your household about mental health, emotions? How do you approach that?
Like, well, as we just mentioned, my mental health is off the charts sometimes. I think it's due to, just the month. But because I'm quite a positive person, I'm pretty happy most of the time. But of course, I think we all get affected by it. Everybody has periods where you just don't feel great. I mean, going back to my late 20s, looking back now, that was a mess. And we've all had these periods, and I've talked before, my husband has suffered in the past. But what we really try and do is talk a lot, And I'm looking at the children and thinking, he seems a bit off today, or, it's hard with Annie, she's a toddler. But I think we all have loads of really brilliant information now, and stuff that our parents didn't have. And sometimes I think, God, Mum was a bit strict, but they didn't have what we have. Of course, we've got pressure that comes with it to be this, phenomenal parent, but they didn't have the information. We have got so much more information to our fingertips. And I think that should make life easier. But what makes it harder is then the pressure layer that we put on ourselves. And maybe that's what needs to come away.
Yeah, I think we all feel under an immense amount of pressure. But I think communicating is so key. And it can feel really uncomfortable and sometimes like the last thing you want to do when you're really tired as well. I mean, it's your husband's story. We don't need to get into your husband. But as you just touched on, he had a bad patch of mental health. Yeah. And it's hard as a partner, or if it's your friend going through it, or a parent, that you can't fix them. That's quite a frustrating feeling, that there's actually very little you can do. How did you navigate that as a partner?
You're right. I mean, I kind of went quite 1980s and was like, right, come on.
Yeah.
And that was the way I'd been brought up. Snap out of it. I gave him a few days, and then I was like, you need to, come on now. And then I realized, gosh, this is what I've been reading about, listening about on your podcast and other podcasts. And I thought, oh my God, this is what it looks like. And it was grim. I didn't know what to do. Because, of course, every experience is very individual, and it's sometimes not something you can or want to talk to somebody else about, because it is very personal. And I feel, even now, I feel so protective of him because, it was his story to tell. It is his story to tell. But in general, I think people don't reach out when they're in despair. There's all these kind of things online and stuff. Well, you can talk to this person and that. You try this, try some meditation. Well, all that goes out the window because you're in a right hole. You can't. So I think as much as we dress it up, it's a lot darker and lonely than we think.
And sometimes you do, whether you're the person going through it, the partner, the friend, all you need to do is sit with them and just be there, because there isn't much you can do. And yes, you can float ideas, or yes, you can ask questions, but sometimes you have to sit and wait it out, and it's not quick. And I think nobody necessarily wants to hear that, because we're all about the quick fixes. Well, what one thing can I do and everything's going to be okay? Or what thing can I do for a week and then everything's magically better? And we all know deep down that's not how life works, but it is a real test in the moment.
It is a test, and I think, you know, as I said earlier, nature saves me. Sometimes just sitting on my own really, really helps outside. And I think things like, we started doing like we do a lot of long car journeys, we do, because we keep going to Wales and God knows. But when the children are sleeping in the back of the car, we are not actually looking at each other. Sometimes that's when we have our best chats.
Yeah.
And we've always been people who are really open with each other. And I think if you're not, that is a problem.
It is.
If you can't open up to the person who's closest to you, you are.
Yeah. You can swear. But you've got your BBC filter on, so she's not going to.
It's easy.
But it is, I think car journeys or walking are great for that.
Oh,
You're just not looking and you're just straight ahead, but the chat flows. It's really gorgeous, and I'm really grateful that you've shared that with us, because it's interesting getting the perspective of a partner as well as the person who has been through it or is in it. It's really important. I do want to ask you some questions about travel, as we are sponsored by British Airways.
Oh, yeah.
And I would love to know what travel means to you, first of all.
It's my absolute favourite thing.
Same.
But we don't, for me though, it's finding places where we can really be with the children.
Yeah.
So I often, for example, because we live here, we gravitate towards the coast. I mean, British Airways flights won't love this, but I love a UK-based holiday.
Oh, a little staycation. Heaven.
Because I think we've got an amazing country in our doorstep.
We have.
But having said that, I mean, this year, randomly, we're going to Corsica.
Nice.
Is it? I don't know.
I've never been. Anyone been to Corsica?
Been to Corsica?
Yeah, one person. Cool.
Yeah. We go into Corsica because, yeah, I mean, it just seems somewhere where we've always looked at. It's got wonderful beaches. It's got like freshwater lakes in the mountains you can swim in. But Charlie thinks he's Bear Grylls, so it always has to be somewhere with an outdoor element.
Right.
You know? And also, if we were in like a really posh resort, I would just be on edge thinking, my children are going to ruin your holiday.
Yes. So this is the other thing. Do we need to invent a new word or term for holidays when you take children? Because it's not a holiday. We need a new descriptive word.
It's full on.
Holidays change literally overnight when you've got kids. How do you find that?
Oh, we were like those idiots who thought, yeah, life's not going to change. We can take them to Thailand. And, no, don't be ridiculous.
No, hasn't got a kids club. Book it.
No, we are now in France, back to back, you know, with a car stacked high, roof box, which has been our best friend. That's where we are.
Yeah, great.
And I'm all right with that.
Yeah, we're fine with it.
Because we actually tried a resort in Greece. I thought, come on, I don't want to stack a dishwasher. Let's be fancy.
Yeah. No.
Hideous.
Shit show.
There was a buffet. My children were like, oh my goodness. Mama, can you have anything? You can have anything. Here.
Terrible answer. Yeah.
Breakfast, chocolate fountain.
Yeah.
Kit. So these lovely people came over and they said, oh, hi, Alex, how's the holiday going? Yeah, really nice, thanks. Oh, yeah, we've seen the children. I bet you have. And then they went, oh, you might want to. Kit had his face in.
Oh, what a legend.
And you know, it's awful, because really all I wanted to do was go, get out.
Yeah, get on
But I was like, Kit, darling, stop doing that. Really, I was like, I'm
Were you doing your BBC parenting?
Yeah.
I love
and these people, but they still kept talking, and I was like, oh my God, there's chocolate all over him, all over the floor. And now Ted is like, oh, where's the marshmallows? I'm like, no. I said, I'm going to have to go. It was awful.
Stress.
7 buffets of a morning nearly killed me.
You've learned your lesson, quite frankly. How do you, and we talked about rest earlier, but how do you take your holidays seriously? Because it's a really important thing when you have that time scheduled and carved out that you do take it seriously.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do tons of research because I think holidays are so precious that you don't want to get it wrong. So we take holidays seriously, but also the fact of it's there for you to relax. It's not that relaxing.
It's a bit, yeah, it's not really relaxing.
But we do pick places where beaches are near, where there's plenty of stuff for the children to do. I mean, again, we should just go to a resort that is used to, but Charlie won't.
What about, are you good with like putting your tech away?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, phone in the drawer.
There's no time.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, people would be like, can you show us where you are? Oh, yeah, in a minute, you know. But there's a bit of that, isn't there? There's a bit of, because it's nice to share things as well and to share tips. But yeah, we've got hard rules around phones. So in the mornings, no phones. Really, it'll only come out after the children have gone to bed.
Yeah, that's great. That's taking it really seriously.
Yeah,
because
we
you will
do.
properly switch off mentally, which is so
Well, I think
important.
otherwise, you know, you are tempted to answer an email. You think, I'll just do one. But the minute they see you on a phone, I think any child feels, they've lost interest.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they're not in the moment with us. We were building a sandcastle here, and it's awesome. But, Dad, are you... No.
Yeah.
So there's a hard rule of...
In the drawer.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the best in Corsica. I hope there's not a chocolate fountain
I'll let
in
you know.
sight. You never know. It's been an absolute bloody joy talking
I've
to
loved
you.
being
I'm
here.
so grateful that you've come along to the Happy Place Festival. I hope you get a chance to have a look around. And thank you so much for your time, considering you're so busy and about to move house.
But this is the break I needed.
This is the break you needed.
know
We're
what I mean?
so grateful you chose to be with us. Give it up for Alex Jones,
thank
everyone.
Thank you, Fearne. You're wonderful.
Thank you.